Hi and welcome to my channel So Amelia, where I talk all about making a handmade wardrobe for me and my children. Welcome to today's video in which I'm going to share all of the things that I made in November. So today I'm sharing just a few things that I made in November. I'm not sharing everything because some things were gifts and I'm looking forward to sharing those with you in the new year once they have been received for Christmas. Now as for what I am wearing today, I'm really excited about sharing these makes with you because they were finished in November. I'm going to share them with you later on in the video. I'm going to start with a couple of jersey dresses that I made this month. One of which was the Freya dress by Tilly and the Buttons. Now I have made a Freya top and I really wanted to try a Freya dress. This pattern can be found in Tilly's book, Stretch, and it comes as both a top and as a dress. Now, in Tilly's sizes, I tend to fall into a size 4 across the bust and the waist, and a size 5 at the hips. So when I made this dress, that's exactly what I did to the pattern. I graded from a size 4 at the bust and the waist to a size 5 over the hips, and I just did that using a French curve ruler and joining the lines of the size 4 to the size 5. Now I believe those are roughly equivalent to a size 12 and a size 14 in UK sizes. And here is the dress. Now it is made in this absolutely beautiful viscose jersey from Andrea and Karis at Beyond the Pink Door. And I think it's called Watercolour Florals. I will link it in the description box below. It is such a beautifully soft viscose jersey. And when I received it, I thought it was so soft that I wouldn't make the Freya dress with the mock turtleneck as I had originally planned, but rather I would try the cowl neck, and I think with the drape of the viscose that works perfectly, and it just sits so beautifully and it's buttery soft to wear. So this will just be a really nice simple jersey dress that I can wear in the winter, lay it up with tights, and in fact it's actually not as fitted as some other jersey dresses I've made, so I may even size down to a size 3 across the bust the next time I make it, as there is quite a lot of room across the bust and under the arms. But as it is slightly bigger, I can layer it with like a merino wool top underneath just to keep myself extra cozy and warm on these really cold wintry days. That was my first make in November, the Freya dress by Tilly and the Buttons. Now for most of these patterns that I'm sharing today, I have previously talked about them in my November plans video, so do head back over and watch that one if you're interested to learn more about the patterns and the sizes they come in and the different features that come with each of these different patterns. So my second make in November was also a jersey dress. Now this one I shared about in my November plans video, or at least I shared the fabric. Now originally with this fabric I was planning to make the Georgie dress by Sew Over It, which is a lovely faux wrap jersey dress. I read some more reviews before I made it, as I just wanted to check a few of the different techniques before I launched into sewing up the pattern, and I'm really glad I did because there were quite a few mixed reviews about the pattern, particularly the weight of it with the lining. I happen to have received the Mayfair dress by Nina Lee in my Simple Sewing magazine, and so I had that one for free, and I thought I would give that a try. So that is a pattern for cotton jersey, and it is a deep V-necked dress with a really interesting ruched shoulder detail at the back and a waist tie across the front. Now I really like Nina Lee patterns, you'll know that if you watched my videos before. I find they fit me really well. I know how to grade between the sizes to really fit my body well, and so I thought in terms of using up this lovely fabric it would be a safe bet. And it was. Now in terms of what I chose to do for that pattern, it comes with 3 different sleeve options: a short sleeve, a 3/4 length sleeve and a full length sleeve. I chose to make the full length sleeves just to give me a little bit of added warmth over the winter months, and I knew that if I didn't like the full length I could obviously chop it off at the 3/4 length or the short sleeve if I would like to in the future. I also chose to make it knee length rather than full length, as that is the length that I prefer for my particular figure, and I'm very happy with that length. Now the other reason I didn't make the Georgie dress is I wasn't sure I would have quite enough fabric. I didn't have a plan in mind when I bought this fabric last year, and that's always a bit dangerous I find personally. So I had only bought 2 meters of it. I wasn't sure if I would just make a top, and so I only bought 2 meters of it. So I was a little constrained in terms of the amount of fabric I had, and the Georgie dress does use a bit more fabric because of the full circle skirt. Now when I looked at the Mayfair dress, it did suggest I might need between 2 meters and 2.5 meters, depending on the length of sleeve that I went for and the length of the skirt. I played some pattern Tetris, and I did manage to squeeze this size 10, 12, 14 with long sleeves out of 2 meters of fabric, which I think is excellent. So it's a really good dress in terms of making best use of a couple of meters of fabric and still being able to have a lovely wearable dress at the end of it. So here is the finished dress. I made it in this beautiful rhubarb dashes fabric from Guthrie and Garni. So at the end of last Christmas season, I did look around and buy a couple of Christmassy fabrics in preparation for this Christmas, and this was one of them. Now it's such a lovely cotton jersey, and they do have some left in, I think they called it a tangerine colour and a beautiful teal green colour, which could be really good for Christmas too. But I did choose this rhubarb colour last Christmas, and I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's a beautiful colour, and I'm looking forward to wearing this at Christmas time and afterwards. I think it's a lovely style of jersey dress that will be worn long after Christmas as well. So it has got this lovely pleated detail up here at the neck, which then means you get this lovely sort of draping pleats across the front here into a V-neck, and then you get this lovely gathered waistband, and it actually is a tie, so you can cinch that in if you would like to. So I made my usual Nina Lee sizes, which is a size 10 bust, a size 12 waist, and a size 14 hip. However, I like my jersey dresses to be a bit more fitted across the bust, and this one is a little big. It drapes just a bit too much across my bust, and I'm at risk of showing things that I would rather keep to myself, and I do have to definitely wear a top underneath this one. So I think next time, if I were to make this one again, I would size down, which is unusual for me. I don't usually size down in jersey dresses, but yes, this one is just slightly too roomy for me across the bust. So I'd probably size down across the bust and then follow that to the waist and hips, because actually there's rather a lot of fabric in this dress. And that's fine, I really like it, I will wear it a lot, but I think I would prefer to size down next time to give me a neater fit, particularly across my upper back. There's just quite a lot of excess fabric across my upper back. But that's fine, I love the colour, it will be perfect for Christmas. I'm doing some carol singing at our church this year, and so I'm looking forward to wearing this for our carol services. I think that will be perfect. Now I'll come on to talking about what I'm wearing today, and I am wearing two patterns that I sewed up in November. One is the Friday Pattern Company Patina blouse, and the other is this Camden Pinafore by Nina Lee Patterns. So since I'm talking about Nina Lee patterns already, I'll start with the Camden Pinafore. Now this is a pinafore that I have made before. I made it in a beautiful needle cord from Felicity Fabrics, and I actually made the size 12 in the bodice. In fact, I think I made the size 12 throughout because there was enough ease in the size 12 for my hips. And then I did a small bust adjustment with the princess seams to grade it down by 1 inch across the bust. However, I wasn't 100% pleased with the results of that, and I don't particularly love doing small bust adjustments. So what I decided to do this time is what has worked really well for me on other Nina Lee patterns, which is simply making a size 10 and using my French curve ruler to just grade out the seams to a size 12 at the waistband. And I'm actually much happier with the fit overall of this bodice this time round, so that's great. Now I made it in this chambray from Minerva, and it's quite a light chambray, and so actually putting in these princess seams across the bust was a nightmare. Now I've made this before in a needle cord and I had absolutely no issues with the princess seams. They went in beautifully, so I think it's probably just that the chambray is slightly lighter and it kept moving about all over the place, so I did have to put those in 3 or 4 times, and they are still not perfect. However, they are still fine, and the pinafore is wearable and I love it, so that's not going to stop me from wearing it. But it is going to make me think about the fabric that I use for the Camden Pinafore in the future, in terms of using something that is just slightly more heavyweight, like perhaps a cotton poplin, or what I used before, which was a needle cord, which was perfect. Now I simply used an anti-static lining to fully line the pinafore. I wasn't going to line the skirt, but looking at the lightness of the chambray as I was working with it, I thought I definitely needed to line it to make sure it didn't cling to my tights, so I have fully lined the pinafore. The only other change I made was to lengthen it by a couple of inches. This pinafore is more of a mini length, and running around after my children and cycling them to school and things, I am not that confident with a mini length. I would prefer it slightly longer, so I did lengthen it by a couple of inches, which is perfect. It does have a very deep hem, and I didn't use that deep hem. I simply folded it over by 1 centimetre and then another centimetre, so I did do a very short hem on it and lengthen it by 2 inches, which has given me more of the knee length that I prefer. And I can let you know I have tested it out on the cycle and it was perfect, no problems there, so that's great to know. I've added another practical piece to my winter wardrobe. Now when I made my plans in November, I wanted, or I hoped, that the patina blouse in this particular fabric would go perfectly with the chambray, and I'm so pleased that they go really nicely together, because sometimes you can plan things and they just don't work out. And also the necklines just fit beautifully together, and I love the way that this blouse just sits nicely over the pinafore. I can see myself making a few more patina blouses to go with this pinafore and the other needle cord one I have in my wardrobe, as I really like the combination. I like the way that the collar sits over the pinafore, and I really like the way that these blousey sleeves come out under the sleeveless bodice. Now the patina blouse, as you'll see, is a v-necked blouse with a large collar and with these puffed sleeves. You can make just short sleeves, or you can do as I have done and make full length sleeves. I really like these sleeves. They're not quite as big as some of the other Friday Pattern Company sleeves, like the sagebrush top for instance. They are slightly more understated, with still maintaining that lovely puff shape that I adore. So I am a Minerva brand ambassador, and I did make this in a fabric that was gifted to me by them in exchange for a blog. So if you would like to read more about it, please do follow the link which is in the description box below. It is a cotton poplin, and it was lovely to work with, and I think it's a perfect fabric for this blouse if you want to really emphasize the puff of the sleeves and get the collar nice and crisp. It was very easy to work with, and it sewed up beautifully. I do love the features of Friday Pattern Company patterns. I really enjoy using the burrito method that they instruct you to use for the bodice yoke, because it just makes such a neat finish on the inside. And actually I used a different technique for the button placket that I've not used before, and it was just beautiful and very easy to do, and I love the finish of it. The only thing I think I would change next time is to finish the rest of the blouse off using French seams, just so that those seams are all beautifully sort of hidden, if you will. So I would like to French seam the sleeves next time and the sides of the shirt, just to make that finish really nice on the inside. Now, I really liked the way the sleeves came together. I love the way that they're gathered into the cuff here. However, as you'll see, they are more sort of bracelet length. Now actually that's fine and quite practical when you're running around after children and washing dishes and doing things like that, because it does stay out of the washing up and out of the way most of the time. So actually it's quite a practical length. However, what I think I will do next time is just to add a good couple of inches to the sleeves and probably finish them off with elastic, so that I can just pull them up and out of the way if I need to, but so that they do come down to wrist length. That's the length that I prefer, and actually in the winter time I think you just need that extra coverage to keep warm. But as they are, I do like them this length. I will wear this shirt, and I'm really pleased with how this combo turned out. Now the next thing I wanted to finish in November were some Christmas pajamas for my children. Now they are finished, but I won't have photos of the children wearing them just yet. You'll have to either check out my Instagram for those, or come back and watch my week in sewing, because I think that's the week in which I will gift these to my children. Now we celebrate St. Nicholas Day, and we put their shoes out the night before and we read some stories, and then in the morning they get some gold coins, or chocolate gold coins, and their Christmas pajamas. I like to give it to them on the 6th of December, because then they get the rest of December to wear them and to enjoy them in the run up to Christmas. I also bought a sneaky book for them this year, which I couldn't resist. So do watch my week in sewing so that you can see what it is that they are going to get for St. Nicholas Day. So here are the finished pajamas. So as you can see, there are 3 different colorways. There's this burgundy colorway, a navy colorway, and a green colorway. I made the boys' pajamas using the Kids Classic Pajamas pattern Made by Me, and I made my daughter's nightgown using the Bellamy Nightgown pattern, and I'll link all of those patterns in the description box below. I used a beautiful cotton jersey from First for Fabrics. It's so cute with these mice on it. I so enjoyed sewing these up and catching glimpses of all of the different mice that are on this fabric. They just made me smile every time I was sewing these for my children. It's a beautiful quality cotton jersey, and I know that they'll enjoy wearing these as it's lovely and soft. So my daughter's nightgown was just very simple, but the sleeves are finished really nicely with just some elastic to make a little frill at the sleeve cuff. It's a neckband, and then there is a frill across the bottom here. So I think that will be really sweet. She does like a nightgown, and don't worry, she does wear slippers and a lovely dressing gown to keep her nice and cozy. Now the kids' pyjama pattern was such a lovely one to sew. I really enjoyed it. And it's a simple t-shirt pattern here, long sleeve t-shirt pattern, and it's finished off with ribbing at the cuffs and the hemband and the neckband. And I couldn't resist but put one of my favourite labels in there by Little Rosy Cheeks. And then there are the trousers, which are finished off with also with ribbing at the waistband and at the cuffs. So I just really love the look of these pyjamas. I think they're going to be so sweet when they wear them together, and it's nice that they can match but not match. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them wear these pyjamas, and as I say, if you would like to see a picture of them wearing it, I will be sharing that on my Instagram, and I'll link to that below as well. Or yes, come back for my week in sewing video when you'll see them then as well. Now all of that sewing did keep me quite busy this November, so I have not quite finished my daughter's Christmas dress, but I thought I would share where I'm up to with that as a little work in progress update, and hopefully that will be finished soon so that she can wear it to some of our Christmas carol concerts and the boys' nativity plays and things like that. So here it is so far. I've done all of the hand sewing on the inside. So everything is attached, and I'll show you that in a minute. It has beautiful long waist ties, and the neckband is left raw at the moment because I will finish that with a bias binding once I'm finished smocking the ruffle around the neck. So the whole thing's been finished with French seams, and the seam here has been encased in the waistband. So the whole thing, including the sleeves, have been finished with French seams. So I did put those sleeves in with French seams, which I think looks really nice. And especially with the velvet, it just sheds. It goes everywhere. My sewing room was red. And so I thought I need to use French seams on this one, or I'm just going to get velvet shedding everywhere. So I did enclose them. I do prefer French seams anyway, but especially with sewing the velvet, I thought it was pretty necessary. The sleeves are finished off with this beautiful little band here, which I really like, and I hand sewed that one as well. So all that's left to do is to put the collar onto this, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the buttonholes. I have hand sewn my buttonholes in the past on her little heirloom dresses and things. I'm a little bit nervous sewing buttonholes onto her dresses because it's the last step and I don't want to ruin the dress, and I do enjoy her hand sewn buttonhole. So I'm just umming and ahhing about what to do there. Do let me know in the comments below what you tend to do if you sew dresses like this for your children or for your grandchildren. Do you use hand sewn buttonholes, or do you just risk it and go for it with the machine? I'm so not sure what to do on this one. And then the collar is almost finished. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through the smocking, and I am just working away on that, and hopefully we'll have it finished in the next week or so. And then that will just be attached to the collar like this with bias binding. Now you can see that there are some blue threads coming out of the side of this. That's just holding the pleats in place while I smock them. Once I've finished the smocking, I can pull those pleating threads out, and that will just allow the pleats to spread out a little bit, which will then allow me to stretch that collar piece around the neckband. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about those makes that I have finished this month, and the dress that I'm still working on and hope to finish soon. Thanks so much for watching today. Do let me know which was your favourite thing that I made in November, and share what you've been making for Christmas too. It's always such fun to talk with you in the comments and hear about all of the different patterns that you're sewing up. Have you made a Christmas dress this year? I've got plans for one more, and I'm hoping for the fabric to arrive very soon so that I can make one more Christmas dress. So that's all from me this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week of sewing, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!